Michiana. So anyway.
Okay.
So, good morning and get inspired, Michiana. I'm Diane Bennett with Remax 100 and Inspired Homes, and this is Life Inspired. We do these great inspiring stories every Friday morning, 9:30 live. Thanks for watching. And today our guest is Cathy Pormen.
Hi.
From The Love of Hair. For The Love of Hair is and I use your stuff and I love it.
Thank
so
you
thanks
very
for
much.
that.
Thank you.
And so if you guys remember, or maybe this is your first time watching, what we're talking about is how God intervenes in a life. And first, life is just going on, and then ... the three little dots, something happens in your life, and now you're really living an inspired life. It's really awesome, and Cathy's story is amazing. So tell me a little about life before the dots.
Before the dots. Before the dots, my life would be like most any young girl would want their life to start as. I got married. I have 2 children. I had a career as an elementary teacher. I was very active in my community and my church. I was an avid runner. I was a fanatic exerciser. I was plugged in, and I was happy and content. And then I had this severe brain bleed.
Right. So this is your ... thing. God comes and allows this to happen. He could have stopped it, but he allowed it.
But he allowed it to happen. And, you know, doctors called it a stroke. They called it a subdural hematoma. They called it a brain bleed that couldn't be stopped during surgery. But it happened, and it changed my life forever. And it left me paralyzed. It took one side away from me. I had to learn to talk again, eat again, walk again. It left me with a lot of limitations. And so at this point, the life I had was over, and there was no going back to it.
Right.
So for me, God intersecting wasn't him making everything okay.
Right. No, he didn't. Because you still walk with a little bit of a limp.
Right.
Just not really, it's not really a limp, but you walk kind of slowly.
Right.
And so I didn't realize this is like, you can't feel me touch your hand?
No, I don't have feeling in this hand.
I didn't realize that.
No.
Okay. Okay.
And it doesn't open up very well. I can't use this hand very well at all. The whole left side just doesn't work.
I don't even know how you do your hair in the morning with no left hand.
Well, that's why it goes curly and wild. Because I can't blow dry it and I can't straighten it and do it.
Okay, now you told me something about when you were in the hospital, at least 3 different churches were praying for you. Tell me about that.
Yes, this is where God is really cool. When I called 911, I had been at school teaching when this happened, and I thought I had a migraine headache. And the secretary drove me home. Well, I ended up
Because you couldn't even drive.
Because I couldn't even drive. And I just thought I had a migraine. Well, I called 911, and then I passed out. And then I just came to when the doorbell rang and acted like nothing happened. And opened the door, and it happened to be my neighbor's son at the door.
So your neighbor's son was an EMT?
Yeah, I didn't know that, but he happened to be the one that came to my door.
That's crazy.
Well, he started a prayer chain.
From his church?
From his church. And then when I got to the ER, someone knew me there and started a prayer chain.
At their church?
At their church. And when I got on the helicopter, that person on the helicopter knew my family and started a prayer chain. So 3 churches were praying for me before I even went into brain surgery.
Wow, crazy.
When I got out of surgery, though, the doctor told my family and my friends that were there that I probably would not make it till the morning.
Right.
And if I did make it, that I would be in a vegetative state. So he didn't give me a chance at all. But
no hope.
I did make it.
Yeah.
And I'm not in a vegetative state.
Clearly. You're living it for 11 years.
So,
You're living a thriving life.
God did let me live. And it is a miracle. There really is not a medical reason for me to be alive.
Wow.
So he did let me live, but he did take part of my life away. I mean, he did let me walk through this fire. And it is a difficult fire. So he did let me do that. But for the past 11 years, he has trained me up in his spirit to walk in joy through the fire. And the miracle of his interception in my story isn't about him saving me and healing me. It is about the gift he's given me the gift of courage, the gift of joy, and the gift of strength. I do have a superhuman strength for perseverance and to overcome.
That's really inexplicable for someone in your situation. Most people would just give up. If I'm never going to get my left side back, why do I want to keep going through life? This is just not fair, God. I had this happy life and you took it away from me. But He gave you something better.
He did, and the joy is huge too.
Right.
To be able to wake up and just be joyful and happy when life is so hard.
Right.
When you have to have your husband help you with your clothes and put your jewelry on and have your children help you. And there's so many things I can't do.
Right.
And yet to have that joy in your heart.
Right.
God puts that there.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
don't.
Right.
You know, circumstances don't put that there.
Right. Right.
God puts that
right.
there.
Right.
So you know what? I tell my kids, He has made me a warrior princess.
Yes.
You know, He's made me a warrior princess with kick butt boots. And you know, my magic shield is Him.
Yes.
Is Jesus.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's my magic shield.
Absolutely.
And so the battlefield of life is not something that tramples me, but I can stand on top of it.
That's
with
awesome.
Jesus.
That's awesome. Very cool.
So,
I thank you
do.
so much for sharing.
You're so welcome.
So you guys, this is why we're doing this, because stories like this are just, I'm getting choked up, I'm so sorry. Stories like this are just so phenomenal. God is a great God who loves us and wants us to live joy-filled lives. He's not going to promise necessarily to change our circumstances. He wants to change us. He wants to change us.
Right.
And so we are looking for more stories like these. If you could message us here, if you know someone that has a great story that they ought to share, we'd really like to hear it. And guys, if you are struggling, you don't have that joy, you can message us here, and I guarantee you that Cathy would want to visit with you. And she talks to people. Yeah, she would go and sit down with you for coffee and talk to you about your struggles and all of that. So I hear people coming up the stairs, so we're going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks so much for watching. God bless you. Have a great 2018. And you can cut us off now, TJ. Thank you, guys. Happy New Year, and God bless.
Bye.
And thank you, Cathy.
Yes,
God
you're
bless you,
welcome.
honey. Thank you. Ooh, I'm like all teary. So we're just going to keep...